What's up? We got Supergirl Season 1, Episode 20, Better Angels, the season finale. So, before we get into the recap, before we get into the review, I gotta say, how did I feel about Supergirl Season 1 as a whole? I thought it was pretty good. There were some elements I could have not dealt with, like in the first episode, Kara calling Kryptonian writing, Kryptonese writing. That could have been changed. It's called Kryptonian. Her not hearing about kryptonite before, that could have been done differently. It's like you had never heard about kryptonite before. And Superman not being a character. Oh, that is the injustice I will never forgive CBS for doing. And we are now next season Supergirl. That's when CW took over the rights for Supergirl, and I'm excited to get into that because I think they'll do Superman better than this one did. I didn't like the red tornado suit. They didn't use Superman entirely. Yeah, Superman was basically a forgotten character. In the last episode, he only showed up to control by Myriad, and Myriad doesn't make any sense. So I'll give this season an 8. Because even though it's not bad, it's not good. It's okay. But anyway, let's start off with a review. So last episode, we had Kara confronting a Myriad induced Alex, and them getting into a fight. And they still fighting. Kara's like, I'm not gonna hurt you. But she's like, yeah, too bad. And starts fighting her. And then she's about to say, yeah, you're about to die. But then Alex like, Alex, don't hurt me. You're not going to hurt me. And you're not going to hurt Kara. We're stronger together, because that's basically what they say for the entire episode of this season. Stronger together is basically their catchphrase, because every time something happens, it's stronger together, stronger together, stronger together. That is their catchphrase. And she says, we're stronger together, and you're the strongest of all of us. And Oz's speech is able to break Alex out of the Myriad-induced hallucination. So with that, they're able to break out. Myriad's like, Indigo's like, hey, we don't need Kara. We don't need Earth. Either we can take over other Earths. Or we can leave Kara, we can leave Supergirl as the lone survivor of an extincted planet. So, yeah. So Kara decides to do a speech about hope, which gets through the wind. He flashbacks about every moment he and Kara had together, snaps out of the Myriad. James flashbacks about every time Kara saved him, snaps out of the Myriad. Lucy snaps out of the Myriad. Basically, everyone's out of the Myriad mind control. And Kara's just like, I'm sorry for what we did on the Myriad control. And she's like, they mentioned nothing about Kelly. Like, she's not like, oh, I'm sorry that Kelly's gone. Okay. Kara, who cares about Kelly anyway? She's not, yeah, so she's like, are we gonna finish that thing? And she's like, what thing? And she's like, and he's like, the thing. And she's like, oh, the thing. Yeah, their makeout session. He's like, yeah. So Kara's like, my plan is to throw Myriad, then he's like, hey, sorry. Then Max Lord's like, hey, people at the hospital are getting headaches, and he's like, hey, and if we don't stop it, everyone is gonna blow up. So now the Kryptonians have stopped from trying to mind control them now they want to blow them all up. So Alex is like, hey. He's like, Eliza, guess what? Jeremiah's not dead. And she's like, wait, what? How is that even possible? can't be. And she's like, John saw into the memories of one of the guys holding him and saw him into the place called Catamus. And she's like, what is he doing there? It's been 10 years. Why would they have him here? And he's like, hold up. We're going to go get him. Later, in season 2, when the show gets on the CW, that's when, so hold off on that side of the storyline. So, yeah, so then they try to arrest Jean, but then Geraldine is like, but then he's like, hey, let him go. So, yeah, she also says that his stubbornness to protect them is what drove Lois away, or something. So, yeah, so they let him go to fight Non, and yeah, so they're like, hey, what's up? Here's the device to stop Myriad, but you can't stop Fort Ross. So yeah, so Kara and Non are fighting. He's like, tell them your parents. Tell your parents I say hello. And she's like, tell them yourself. And she starts blasting it eye lasers until Non's just Kara's able to blast Non until he just gets smoky eyes. That's the end of Non. He doesn't die. He doesn't get killed. He doesn't go to jail. He just gets smoky eyes, and that's where we leave him. But who does die? Indigo. Jean rips her apart, killing her. Yeah, John's just like, Lord Vandervoort, we really like you, but you're a villain, so it's gonna rip you apart on the show. So Indigo just dies, and then she's just, so Kara's like, hey, I'm gonna fly up there and stop. I'm gonna fly up there and stop Indigo. And she's like, I'm gonna fly up there and stop Fort Ross. And she's like, no. And she's like, Alex, I'm gonna do it. So she flies up there, and she defeats Fort Ross. But as she's falling, she falls. But Alex is able to take her pod and get her back to Earth. And yeah, and John gets reinstated as director of the DEO. Non's never captured or taken away. He's just left on that cornfield for the rest of his life. Or wherever that place is for the rest of his life. They don't mention him again, so... And do you know who they don't mention ever again? Maxwell Lord. This is the final appearance of Maxwell Lord in the entire Supergirl series. He has like one final scene teasing a season 2 plot, but that season 2 plot is never mentioned again. He's never brought up again or seen again. So that whole season, that whole plot, that whole tease scene is just nothing in the grand scheme of things, because he's never brought back or seen again. And we never all see again Lucy in the show, because we will later see Lucy again in Sumi and Lois. But as for Lucy's character on this show, it's by Lucy. And yeah, and also Kara gets a new job. Kara grants like grabs all Kara's things, and Kat's like, Kara's like, whatever I did. And she's like, hold up, Kara, I'm not firing you, I'm promoting you. And she's like, wait, what? And she's like, you have been my assistant for a very long time, and I'm grateful for that, but now I'll let you out of your cage, or something, whatever. And she's like, you're being promoted. And she's yeah. And she finally calls her by her right name. She finally calls her Kara. So, back at the Danvers household, we see them hanging out, and they're holding one seat for Jeremiah when he comes home. But then as they're celebrating, a huge meteor crashes. And Kara and Jean fly down there, and John's like, you have no idea what's in there. And Kara opens to see, wait till season 2. Wow, what a wait for season 2 moment. Because now we have a lot of questions. What's in the pod? Kara's got a new job at what? I guess Kara has to think that over. Like, Kat gave her new office space. So, what's the new job for? She also has to find Kat a new assistant. Lucy and Max never show up in this show again. What a way to get rid of Max the Lord. You tease him and you never show him again. So, yeah, and I gotta say it. Non wasn't a good villain. Like, I'm gonna say it, Non wasn't the best villain. Like, for the first villain of Supergirl season 1, like, for every, like, if you think about it, I think Dark Archer was the first good villain for Arrow. Sorry, for the Flash, Real Flash was a good villain. Vandal Savage is a good villain, but Non, not so much. And some people say it could have been better if Astro was the main antagonist. It would have been more compatible. Like, Astra and Kara had this good relationship. Non and Kara were just related by blood. And they fought like what? And Non just dies. Actually, not dies. He just gets his eyes all smoky and then never shows up again. They didn't kill him, but they didn't take him away. We see Kara blast him with his eye lasers. He's knocked. He's blasted. We see his smoky eyes, and then Kara flies Fort Ross onto Earth. And then she just sends back Dio. Non's never captured, never captured, never sent to prison. He's just smoky eyed. That's terrible. I feel like that's kind of a bad way to end your villain. I kind of think that Astro would have been a better main antagonist for Supergirl to have, because she kind of was. She still loved Kara, but she wanted to make Myriad on Earth, which Non eventually did. But Non didn't have any moments with Kara as Kara. Like, other villains like Reverse Flash, Vandal Savage, and Dark Archer have had moments with the Legends, and the Flash and Arrow in that costume. But Supergirl, Non only had fights with Supergirl when she was Supergirl. Never had fights with him when she was just Kara. So that doesn't make him a good villain, because he didn't have... Okay. Yeah, he's not the best villain. I hope Season 2's villain is way better, because Non just wasn't Non is one of my least favorite villains. He just didn't have... After watching all 20 episodes, Non didn't even have any... Like, Astra had more integrity as the main antagonist, because all she wanted to do, she didn't want to see the planet die. Non and Indigo did. That's why they created Myriad to begin with, because they wanted to rule the Earth, but they didn't want to see it die. At the end, Non and Indigo were just like, yeah, let's have the Earth die. Astra didn't want that. She wanted to take over the Earth, but she didn't want it to die. Non and Indigo were just like, oh, our plan failed. We'll just go against what we wanted. We didn't want to see another planet die, but by leaving Kara as the only human left means that they wanted the Earth to die. Is it not? So they basically are going against their own word, because they're terrible villains. Indigo only had like 3 episodes to her name. 15, 19, and 20. That's her only 3 episodes. She never appeared in 17, 16, 17, or 18. That's just like, huh? Anyway, that was it for this video. Non and Indigo weren't that good villains. We'll never see Maxwell Lord again. We'll never see Lucy again until we get to Superman and Lois, which is years from now when this episode came out. So Lucy Lane is never to be seen again on Supergirl. Sad. I kind of liked Lucy as a character. I kind of did. Until she broke up with James and started being a kind of terrible character.